What's up, YouTube? Back with some deck profiles. This one in particular is X-Sabers. I've been working on this deck for quite a while in my spare time. I haven't been able to post videos because my computer was down for a while. This is actually the third iteration of the deck. Unfortunately, I didn't get videos of the previous two, so I've been unable to make the little segment on Sabers that I had planned on doing at the get-go when I started to build the deck. But as it stands now, I feel the deck is essentially perfect for the current format. Not as in like the tier 1 deck to play or anything, but as in the way it's built for the format, I think is near perfect. There's just a very few number of cards I'll talk about at the end of the video for the main deck that could be tweaked. But as far as the side deck goes and how that works for the current meta, I think is essentially perfect. You guys should know Sabers pretty well. There's most of it is very much core, so there's not a lot to explain. So I'll just go ahead and get into it. Start off double Bogart Knight. One's not enough, and three's too many. He's just your captain, Marauding Captain. That's really it. Triple Full Helm's really the heart and soul of the deck. I revolve around this card more than essentially anything else in this build. Like more so than you would normally think of. Maybe it's just my playstyle with the deck. Triple Dark Soul, your little search whore. Triple Embers Blade, your floater. Erebellum is really, really good. I find myself pushing and getting in people's hands all the time with Erebellum. Enough that I really contemplate a second copy of Erebellum. But there's just not room for it, and I know that in the long run it's not the right play to make. Double Pashul, you really sit behind this guy quite a bit and just build up advantage. I mean, I have games where I'll take 3,000-4,000 damage just off his effect and then just explode off and win. It's just knowing how to sit behind him and how to make the right plays. Double Foul Troll, I think 3 gets really cloggy. He's searchable when you need him off Dark Soul, so it's not a problem. One Hamster, you really have to get the Dark Soul. If you're not getting to Dark Soul and don't have Dark Soul moving, chances are good you're going to lose. And Hamster has really good synergy with some of the side deck as well. And finally is one copy of Gorz, because Gorz is just freaking awesome. Spells, we play Double Duality just to help for the filter. Whoops. Double Econ. Econ works really well first off with Full Helm. Put something in defense, run it over with Full Helm, get something back from the graveyard. That is just absolutely awesome. So you can play it offensively that way. You can play the card defensively just to stall if you need to. The other really good thing with Econ is tributing Dark Soul to steal something, making whatever plays you want, and then nabbing your search in the end phase. One copy of Creature Swap. This card is absolutely nuts in the deck. The very first iteration of the deck, I was playing 3 Creature Swaps and a playset of Giant Rats, and the deck was really nutty that way, but I just tended to get some cloggy hands between Creature Swaps and Triple Foul Troll and Decrees and such. And thus the deck began to evolve. But I feel like if you're not, like, I played the second iteration of the deck, didn't play Creature Swap at all, and I really missed it, so I made sure that I had the one copy in here for this particular build. One Forbidden Lance, it's good enough to be at 2 in the deck, but the 1 is always there when you need it. I just find that on occasion, when I really want it so that I can push over something, I have trouble getting to it, but whenever it's there, it's absolutely amazing. It's just, preference 1 or 2, it really doesn't matter. Heavy Storm, Mind Control, Monster Reborn, and Dark Hole. We play a really huge trap lineup for defense. Judgment and Double Warning for the Solemn Brigade. Double Bottomless, 1 Torrential. You really like field presence in this deck. The only thing you want a Torrential is if you're setting on like a Dark Soul, so that's why we're only playing 1. Double Gotham Z-Call, got to bring stuff back. And then Protection is Double Deep Prison and Double Mirror Force for 40 cards. Now there were 4 cards for the main deck that I had been toying with that just didn't make the final cut. First was a single copy of MST. I am sideboarding the other 2, so having the third, because Macro really hates this deck. I really think the third should be there, but right now I just didn't have the room for it. I'm undefeated against Macro Rabbit right now, thanks to the sideboard and the way I have that set up. So I'm not overly worried about it, but I think fundamentally it should be there because of the problems with Macro. The second Lance I sort of touched on during the profile. Rhoda. Rhoda, because of Macro being prevalent with Rabbit, and especially if they open, macro, and it's really hard to get Dark Soul searching. Roto lets you get around Dark Soul, so you can either get to that Pashul so you can stall or get into full helm to make some sort of play. I really liked it for game 1 just to help make that consistency there, whether you had Dark Soul or not, and then it was a really easy side out card for games 2 and 3. I kind of miss not having it in the main, but I just didn't have room for it. I felt that some of the other cards were better choices. And finally, there was one copy of Trap Stun. You flip Trap Stun and go off, and you pretty much have game. I may just play Trap Stun as a 41st card in the deck. But I'm trying to really keep it set on 40 and then abuse the fact of the amount of searching that the deck does to have insane, what's the word I'm looking for here, consistency for the build. On to the extra deck. Gorge Token, Ancient Mew, awesome. Always gotta play it. Catastor and Beast are only 5s. Barkion and Double Hunley as staple 6s. Now I am playing one copy of Gravity Warrior. This could be Gaianite. A good portion of the time I find myself in a position where just playing these 3 6s isn't enough. There's no reason to go into Barkion, and they have no macro, so Hunley's not worth it. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to waste the Barkion because Hunley's not worth it. So I want to go into something else, and that's why Gravity Warrior's there. I mean, a guy has the set 26. If they have 2 monsters, Gravity's a 27. And typically, I feel like the field's full enough that he's going to be 27 when he hits the field. I've used his other effect a couple of times of manipulating your opponent's battle phase. But there have been just as many games as he's been the 27 and manipulating battle phases as there's been where Gaia would have been the better choice. So it's really a 50-50 toss-up. Souza, Black Rose, Scrap Dragon, Colossal Fighter, the 1 Gotams, and then Zenmaines and Leviathan as rank 3s. You don't want to ever have to overlay with a Dark Soul, Full Helm, and or Emmer's Blade, but there are many times that you just have to do it. It's what the current game state calls for to make sure you don't lose or that you can win. So you got to play the 2 rank 3s, and those are obviously the best 2 to be playing. We play 1 rank 4. We only have the 2 Bogarts and Monster Reborn and Mind Control. So rank 4 is very, very seldom, and I felt that Black Corn was the best universal pick for that. And then finally, the 1 Strike Bouncer for use between Fall Troll and our Hunleys and Gotham Z-Call and such. The side deck. This is what really makes the deck tick. Depending on matchups. We play 2 copies of Effect Veiler for like windups and Zectors, those sorts of things. Because of Macro Rabbit, we play 2 copies of Raikou. Raikou can be fetched by Hamster, as well as your Dark Souls and Arabellum, of course. But being able to get into this guy to pop Macro is awesome, or to get over Logi or whatnot. The deck does have a huge problem with Dolka, but there's other things to combat that, and that's why we're playing D-Prisons and Mirror Forces, as well as Bottomlesses and a couple other side deck cards here. The last 2 monsters we're citing are 2 copies of Banisher's Radiance. We can't play Macro, but we can play Banisher because he's level 3. We can go into Zenmaines or Leviathan to turn off the Macro effect if we have to, but otherwise a well-protected Banisher is better than Macro or anything versus Mermail. So playing that is absolutely nuts for that matchup. We play the 2 copies of MST. Again, these pretty much only go in for like heavy back row decks like Heroes, Skill Drain, and such. And of course for Macro. 2 copies of Soul Taker. I've had a ton of problems with King Tiger Wanghu. I expect that problem to get bigger with any decks that try and use him in like the Fire Fist or whatnot. Generally speaking, the deck doesn't need to play it, in my opinion, but I know a lot of people will because being a Beast Warrior and searchable, it's going to be ridiculous. But that, and Thunder Kings, and Shinings, and Pulsars, Soul Taker is just a really good card to make sure you have outs to decks that can put stuff on the board that are bigger than you. 1 system down for the Machine matchup. The MVP of the side deck is 2 Debunks. Debunk hits Wind-Up Shark, it hits Megalo, it hits Priestess, it hits Gorz, it hits Trag, it hits Effect Veiler, and Deity Crow, and Maxi, and It's just really infinitely versatile versus getting rid of problems for the deck. And the final two cards are two Gozen Match because everything is Earth. We can manipulate the extra deck to be only Earth. Um, and it can really put a lot of hurt on like Samurais and Windups. So that's the deck. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.